Hey everyone, this is a review of the variety Bennett Alfonso. So if any of you guys grow Alfonso, you know that in California it struggles a little bit. It's a vigorous grower. Like the regular Alfonso is a vigorous growing tree. It just tends to kind of catch a lot of powder mildew, and folks that have fruited the variety tends to have sometimes issues with like internal breakdown, like the inside and stuff. So, like I haven't heard too much good things about Alfonso being grown in California or Florida or anything like that. This one is a Bennett Alfonso. It's supposed to be like a variant of Alfonso, but it's supposed to do much better. You know, at least in Florida, it's supposed to be a bit more disease resistant. It produces better quality fruits and stuff like that. Here in my area, I noticed that it's not as vigorous as the regular Alfonso, so slightly a little bit slower from what I could tell. Still catches a lot of powder mildew and stuff like that. Might be better. We'll see. Maybe it's slightly bit more resistant. I'm not too sure. Maybe I'll figure that out in the upcoming years. But this is a fruit that held. It's a kind of small, cute fruit right here. It should be a much bigger fruit. Like it should be like an Alfonso sized fruit, right? But this one might be like a nubbin. There might be nothing but like a thin seed in there, a thin empty seed husk. That's what I'm guessing. So if you guys have never had Alfonso, it is probably the most famous Indian mango. You know, it's a very good mango. I've had Alfonso, the good imported ones. The good quality imported one is really good, but I always run into all kinds of internal issues with the imported mangoes, even from India. Like I cut into it, it looks perfect, and then inside it's kind of like beginning to brown and stuff. So not that pleasant, right? But a really good one is great. It's has a nice kind of saffron smell to it. Good amount of sweetness. Kind of a melony notes to it. It has a citrus kind of sub-acid balance, not a zest, not a citrus zest, but like that sweetness to kind of sub-acid note to it. So it makes it very pleasant, right? So I'm gonna cut into this and see how it goes. Let's see. All right, guys. Bennett Alfonso. Oh, looks like it's already kind of beginning to be overripe. Let's see. And see, like this browning and stuff like that. Sometimes it's like a beginning sign of like this weird kind of breakdown inside. Sometimes it could be overripeness. Sometimes it could just be not even overripeness, just some kind of nutritional deficiency or anything like that. Bit watery. I mean, I don't think this is a good version of the Bennett Alfonso. So probably don't have a good peak quality fruit to kind of give you guys a good sample of it, right? So far, this food is a bit watery. There's kind of like a little bit of internal breakdown. It reminds me of what I've had with some of the Indian Alfonso, where it's a bit sour in that middle part. Saffron is there, but very lighter notes of it. Melony citrusy, but again, this is probably not a good example of this fruit, right? I probably need some better fruits picked at a peak quality in the future. Everything is kind of watered down and mellowed out on here, on this. Can't probably, you know, if I was to compare to this to the case I had earlier this month, that was really good. Mild sweetness. All the flavors just toned down a bit on this. Could taste that saffron notes on Alohonso, but very mellowed out. Let me try to cut into this a bit. Looks like it's could be a full-size seed. Could be like an embryo in here. Not sure why the fruit was so small, but could be. So it looks like I do have a seed in here. Let me open this up for you guys. And here it is. Here's the husk, tiny seed, you know. So overall, this wasn't a good example. I think this either might have been overripened on tree, because when I kind of just barely kind of started moving around, it came off. So it might have been overripe on a tree, caused some of this kind of bit internal breakdown or whatever, or it could just be that way, who knows. Not a good example of an Alohonso, and not a good example of fruit that I picked, right? And that's more because of the quality. I think this might get better, who knows, we'll see. As I get more in the future, I'll do more example of this fruit. Alohonso is one of my favorite fruits, so definitely looking for something that would produce a really good quality Alohonso-like fruit here. I'm hoping some of my Alohonso strains will do well. In addition to regular Alohonso, I grow this Bennett Alohonso, I grow a white Alohonso, and Sun Paris it's a hybrid of that came out of India that has some Alohonso in it, and I forgot what the other one was, but the Sun Paris I've had that came from Florida was like a peak good imported Indian Alohonso. So I have some hopes for that one too. So let's see. Unfortunately, with this one, might have let it sit too long on the tree and over ripen, or it might just kind of be a bit of some nutritional deficiency or whatnot when it comes to Alohonso. All right, guys, that's it for this review. Not a great one, but just don't take this with a bit of grain of salt. This is the very first fruit, and not just by cutting into it, I knew something was off with it already. So in the future, I'm sure it will probably produce a bit more better quality fruit. We'll just see how good that is. All right, thanks, guys.